So let's talk about dynamics. Dynamics are what make music really interesting because if it all sounded the same volume, it would just be like somebody talking at you who always talked exactly the same volume. And if you were trying to, hey, how's it going? And they go, hey, it's going fine. How are you? Right? Or if the person's like, hey, can you hear me? And you go, yes, I can hear you. What? Yes, I can hear you. Like sometimes in our lives, we need to have different volumes in our voice. And music is the same way. We can't just use like these medium level volumes. We need to be able to get very soft and we need to be able to get very, very loud. So we can see the English version of these dynamics over here. And we can see that our most basic terms are piano, which means soft, forte, which means loud, and then mezzo, which is used as moderately or sort of medium. So mezzo piano means moderately soft, and it's abbreviated MP. So the M is that moderate. So this is a little bit soft, a little bit loud. This is soft. This is loud. This is very soft. This is very loud. Very, very loud. So we have a whole range of dynamics. In your beginning years in band, we try to be able to play 4 dynamic levels. And then we try to move on to 6 dynamic levels. And then we kind of try to go to 6 plus. I mean, we can say 8, but we rarely ever use triple piano or triple forte. Now, we have all these terms for dynamics. But there's other terms, too, for some special effects. So one of them is called a crescendo, where we get louder, and decrescendo, where we get softer. And all of these things make music really interesting. Now, there's a couple of special effects that are worth talking about. I already talked about crescendo. Here's an example. Started soft and got louder. And then decrescendo. Where we're getting gradually softer. All right. Now, they can always like ratchet up the level of dynamics by putting a forte there. Hey, let's play loud. And we just play loud for a while. And then if you see a piano, oh, now let's play soft. And then we play soft for a while. But crescendo and decrescendo is the only way to change it gradually. Because all the other labels, all these other dynamic signs, change the volume instantly. They change the dynamic level when you see them in the music. And they say, hey, time to play loud. Hey, time to play soft. Crescendo and decrescendo are special. They say, hey, start getting louder, now be loud here. And there's usually even an instruction about how loud to get. So you might see at the end of a crescendo, you might see a forte. And you might even see something like a piano at this end, but usually you might be playing music already. And maybe you were playing along and playing mezzo piano, and then suddenly the music gets louder. Or you might be playing along and playing loudly, and you see, oh my goodness, we're going to need to decrescendo to pianissimo, double piano, very soft. So that's going to be a dramatic effect. Sometimes these things even go over multiple measures, and you have to do a really long, gradual change. Now, these changes down here are not so gradual. These are some pretty cool special effects. This is called a sforzando. It's like a lot of letters to have next to each other. Sforzando just means with sudden emphasis. It's like a really big accent. It's just, you're playing along. Where there's just boom, like suddenly a really in-your-face note. This gets used sometimes at a big climax in the music or sometimes at the very end on the final note just to get in the face of the audience. And then another super cool special effect we see, especially in jazz band, but in lots of music, is the forte piano, where we play loud, then suddenly soft. Loud, then suddenly soft. You can hear it like this. So that's kind of a cool one. Most students are really interested in that one, and I always like to draw what's happening. So here's what it would look like in the music. You're almost always going to have a forte piano. Oops, I didn't talk about the crescendo. But you'll always see this forte piano pretty much always followed by a crescendo. If you don't see it followed by a crescendo, you would just do this. And hold the note softly. But since we usually see it with a crescendo, the effect you have to learn is how to play loud and then immediately drop to as soft as you can play and gradually bring back the crescendo like this. And that's one of the coolest special effects that we get to play with. It creates a lot of drama, a lot of excitement, and it really gets everybody's attention. And the coolest thing about it is actually what gets everybody's attention is this space. And that space represents where there used to be sound. So when you play loud, everybody's ears expect to hear loudness, and then they hear silence or very soft. And then all of a sudden the sound comes back. So it's like pulling the rug out from under the audience. They don't expect this silence right after you play loud, and that's why it grabs the attention so much. So those are some cool dynamics special effects, and we remember that dynamics are really just the volume levels of music that make it interesting and especially keep the audience interested. That's dynamics.